Welcome back to our channel, Warriors. We are still growing, almost to that 20,000. Let's keep it pushing. If you haven't already had that guy that makes those hot dogs wrapped in bacon in the Walmart parking lot, smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and have him smash it right now. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to the newest and following patrons: Erasmo, Benny, Sergio, Grant, El Skid, Joe Kez. Could be Hawkez, but it says Joe Kez, Mika Boy, Scott, Lead with Love, Charles, Albert 12, Soulstar LA, Coach Ken, AI Vega, Esquiel, Miguel, Big Bad 48, JT, Nova, Jack, Linda, Michigan Wolverines, Marius, Chevelle 66, Gigi, Abuelita's Journey, and Dallas Herrero. If you have not already signed up for that Patreon, make sure you hit that link in the description below. You are definitely missing out. This episode right here, man, it's a good one. It's a good one, right? Hector, you used to work for the California Department of Corrections for 16 years, right? As an officer, a sergeant, and a lieutenant. Well, 8 of those years, the first years, you were an officer, a CO, right? In the building, in the yards, ad seg, gun posts, all of the above. Hospital coverage, that was good. So Hector, since you are Mexican, did the Southern Hispanic Sureños look out for you? Did they show you favoritism? Did they show you love? No, absolutely not, guys. Absolutely not. 100%. Whatever the opposite of that is exactly what was transpiring. 2007. Charlie Yard, Centinela State Prison. And the reason I bring it up is because I've seen interviews with other correctional officers, even present time, of different race. Some were black, etc., etc. And from what I've gathered, their experience was more than likely, well, of course, different than my experience, right? They go on to say that because they were black and wearing the uniform, that the inmate population, the blacks, would talk smack to them, would make derogatory remarks to them, like, oh, you're working for the man, this and that, this and that. Me, personally, as a Mexican, in Southern California, no less, right? Centinela, down south, right next door, you got Calipat. No, absolutely not, man. They were fucking ruthless with it. Absolutely ruthless with it. They just saw green, right? We just saw blue, for sure. We knew the different tactics amongst the races, but blue versus green, it was that simple. And that is pretty simple if you're breaking it down to that. I was young, 22 years old. A lot of those dudes were young. A lot of those dudes were young lifers, man. LWAP, 50 to life, 25 to life. They didn't care. They didn't give 2 fucks about nothing, right? They were not paroling at that time. They were not going home at that time. It was like 2 soldiers on a battlefield. That's how hostile it was. They didn't talk to me, right? Now, that's not to say that in Charlie Jim, the porter, didn't have a rapport with me. I remember his AKA too, but that's like that was far and few in between, right? It could have been because of my lack of communication skills at that time. It could have been because of my age. The times, right? The times of the prison system. And nah, man, for sure no. It was, they held a lot of hostility towards me. A lot of resentment. And it wasn't, like I said, I never was a hard ass. Or at least I didn't consider myself a hard ass. Considering like there was other people that would trip on small petty things, your boy wasn't necessarily tripping. But when time came to toe that line or hold that line, oh, man, you guys know me by now. I'm not going to fucking retreat. I'm not going to surrender. I'm not going to buckle, right? Raquel buckle. None of that shit, man. We got 2 down already. 1 more to go. We're 2 more to go. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. So, yeah, C6, ad seg. Let me tell you guys a story, like just how bad it was. I told you guys one time there was a staff assault. My first staff assault was in minimum yard, MSF. Echo yard at Centinela, it's called Echo yard. The level 1s, those trustees that you see out there. Well, you don't see them anymore, but they would be at the park picking up trash and stuff like that. The young Southsider that didn't want to get up when Chow was up, his table. He was trying to prove some type of point. He lost when he came out. He headbutted my partner in the head. He definitely lost, right? It was like technically a 2-on-1. Me and my partner on him. We looked back. There's a whole fucking line of Southerners. Oh, man, I got scared, right? They should have jumped us. They absolutely should have jumped us. I don't know if they were thinking, fuck it, we're level 1. We're going to go home. I don't know, man. Thank God they didn't. We would have got stomped the fuck out. That little youngster lost, man. You want to talk in terms of losing. Oh, the dude Correctional, for sure. And it did not look pretty. In C6, I was like covered relief or bouncing around, always. I'm back there. And that's where ADSEG, where you escort the inmates, you got to strip them out before they come out of their cell. They give you their boxers. You got to fucking go through and make sure there's no weapons, contraband, anything like that. Well, on the cell doors, sometimes you would have a piece of paper. Well, you do have a piece of paper, and it has the inmate's last name and the inmate CDCR number. But sometimes there would be a number 2. A number 2 written or typed up on the paper, meaning that's a 2-to-1 escort. The 2 officers on 1 inmate. That inmate is staff assaultive. He committed a staff assault. Be careful, guys. One guy kept slipping the cuffs, man. He was like Houdini. I swear, like Houdini. It was written on there like, hey, dude, can manipulate cuffs. Right. I mean, it's safe to assume that all inmates can manipulate cuffs, but this guy was the master at it. Well, one day, you go out through it's like a pod, right? And it's cells on one side, and they're facing a concrete wall. When they look out their cell window, they're facing a concrete wall. That's all they see. Well, at the end of the tier, there's a back door. And that back door leads to the ADSEG yard, these individual dog cages. Look at dog cages. Watch the movie Shot Caller. That's how it is. Didn't used to be like that, but now that's how it is. So, this guy was an associate, right? This guy was an associate, Mexican dude. And I fucking go, and I just like ate my normal routine. And this guy is like, oh, look at this dude acting all tough. And I was not acting tough. Trust me, man. It's probably one of those days, you know, you're just hungover, you're just chilling. Like, that dude had something to say or something to prove. He's like, look at this dude acting all tough. And I'm like, right? Turn around, man. Like I didn't have communication skills. I wasn't in the mood, right? And as I'm escorting the dude back to his cell, he walks by a cell and he sees a placard. Yeah, I don't know, man. They rarely had big mouths like this, but he was like, oh, that's what's up, homie. That's what's up. I see that number 2 on your cell. I see that number 2 on your cell door. That's what's up. We know what that means. Oh, fuck me, man. So I instinctively paused, stopped, right? I get upset now. Now I get upset. And I stop and I look in the window to see who it is. It was that skinny Southsider. And I go, oh, man, it's you? Damn, homie. Hey, your eyes looking a lot better. Why don't you tell this guy what really happened? fuck. That dude got mad. Now that dude got mad. Fuck, I didn't cause any of this shit, right? Just trying to go do my job, escort the dude from the outside into the inside. And, he didn't say shit to me. He didn't try to fucking, turn or jerk or nothing, headbutt nothing. He just goes back in his cell. He was pissed, right? You could feel the fucking air. It's crispy. Put the dude away. But, like, that's what it was like, and before I made this video, I was thinking, like, hey, it was always going heads up. They gave it their all, we gave it our all. They gave it their all, we gave it our all. Is that right? Is that wrong? Is that fair? It's just that the way it was. At that time, throughout the times, I did see that dwindle down. I did see that type of, maybe at the other prisons, right? I've had other people tap in, like, nah, High Desert is still the same, or Salinas Valley is still the same. Well, throughout the years of Centinela, I did kind of see that dwindle down, and then RJD was a fucking madhouse. But, my parents were over yesterday, and my pops, man, he was a CO, you guys know that, old school prison guard, 1990 style. And I'm like, hey, Dad, you heard they got tablets now? And he's like, yeah, I heard, right? And it's a small town, everybody kind of, where they're from. And then my mom goes like, well, maybe they just gave it to them to pacify them. And I'm like, yeah, probably. That sounds about right. I said, but you know what, man? I'd rather have them looking at their fucking screen like this and beating our asses. I'll tell you that much. And they were like, yeah. So, the message for today, man, is that we started off with race, and I told you guys that didn't fucking matter for me, from my perspective. Right? I didn't get preferential treatment. Everybody's experience is different. And I think a lot of the OGs, right? And I don't consider myself an OG. You'll never hear that, man. But I think a lot of the guys that have been through the battles, been through the wars, see it. Of course they see it, man. Both sides. Blue and green, right? And it's just like, man, what the fuck? What the fuck was it all for? All that fucking fighting, right? And I have to tell you guys this. If you're still in the prison system, that is what it is, right? It's still on and cracking. You still have to have your guard up, right? I would never tell you to put your fucking guard down. Everything's all honky-dory. Because that's not the truth. You're going to get hurt. You could possibly even get killed, right? So that's the message. It's a good one. Know your environment. Understand that battles you're fighting now won't necessarily be battles that you're fighting later. And what is it all worth, Family. All I can say is keep putting your family first, man. Fuck everything else. Keep pushing forward.